Wait, I think you're muted. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry, guys.
I'm muted. Sorry. Hi, Rob. Hi, Charlene.
Hello.
Hi, Irene.
Hello.
Is it just the four of us right now?
Yes.
Okay. Irene, I'm so glad you were able to get in. Is she there?
No, it says she's connecting to audio, so she's half here. Yeah.
All right. So let me pre-warn everyone. My grandchildren are sleeping over tonight. I promise nothing.
So we may be muting you. Is that what you're saying at any given time?
And removing me from video. So Rob, we're going to have how many groups tonight?
Well, I made it for 8, but depending on how many we have, we'll do. Charlene said, like, what'd you say, 5, 6, or 7 in each group?
Yeah.
Yes.
So depending on how many actually show up versus who said they were showing up, right?
Oh, we all know how that works. So Rob, did we get any last minute registrations or was it what you told me last night?
There was one extra from Roxbury.
No, I don't think I don't think we had a Roxbury,
No,
right?
Roxbury's new. Yep.
Oh, so we have 21 of the 41 districts. All right, perfect.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Make sure I can show.
Do not make me a scribe, which means taking notes, because I may at any time have to go put someone to bed, change a diaper. I promise nothing except fun and merriment. Hi, Irene.
Hello.
Okay, doing? How you doing? I am fighting a nasty cold, so
Ah.
Well, you look marvelous.
for a nasty cold, I look marvelous. You should have seen how I looked a few hours ago.
Well, I give you credit.
We're good. We're good.
Are you letting
Charlene?
everyone in? Rob, what's happening? I'm losing everything.
Oh, because I'm trying to share my
On my
screen.
screen. I can see Carrie's in the waiting room. Yeah.
Who?
Carrie, your VP.
She's the only one in the waiting room?
Yeah, so far.
Well, it's a little early. It doesn't start till 7:15. Give them a
Yeah.
break.
Well, that's my people in the waiting room. I love it.
5 minutes.
I'm
Charlene, when you get a chance, can we talk about setting up a meeting with you for our board in Booton?
Sure.
Okay. All right. We don't have to do it right now, but when you get a chance, if you give me a holler, okay?
Okay. Did you have like a time frame in mind or?
Whenever you have a Monday night available, it's not the first, it's not the second or fourth Monday in a month. So
Okay.
like we have the first, third, and fifth Mondays available.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever works for you, that's what they would like.
Okay.
So whatever, when you have time to check it out.
Okay.
All right. I promised I would talk to you and I didn't know I was going to get lucky and see you tonight. So
Well, Irene, some of us board presidents have already taken care of that task.
yeah, I know. But this board president seems to get wrapped up in other things and forgets to do her basic responsibilities.
But we all still love you.
Thank you. I had a great vice president last year who was right on top of everything. I have a new vice president who needs to learn all the ropes and therefore is not the support backup that,
You need.
that
Well,
would
it
be.
is our job as board presidents to ensure that our vice presidents are ready to take over at any time.
Newt, I want her to take over.
Okay, never mind. Not even going to say that.
That wouldn't go.
No, we won't go that far.
We
Right?
will not go there. We will not go
And I
there.
might be with you, Irene.
You know Jen and how good she is. I would let her take over in a second.
Oh, absolutely. Can't say enough.
Okay, should I let everyone else in, the people in as they come in now?
Sure.
Sure. I think we're ready to go.
Rob,
Are
I
you gonna
just
keep
got
your-
I just
you
got a
gonna keep
text
your-
from Melissa saying she's having a hard time getting in.
Tell her if she just, because that's what Irene did. She just re-registered and then, because then now when they register, it'll bring them right into the meeting.
It worked out perfectly. Yeah.
Rob, are you going to keep your screen up? Or are we going to have all our smiling faces
Oh,
up?
just faces for now. Sorry. Okay.
All right.
I'm
All right,
keeping the video off,
let
though,
the
because my
games
internet's been
begin.
a pain.
Hello.
Hello. There's Karen. Hi, Karen.
Good.
Hey, Irene, you got in?
I did, thanks to yours. You sent me that link, that thing, and I just re-registered and came right in. No problem. Thank you.
Rob sent me a link.
Rob likes you
I'm not
better.
as resourceful as you.
He just likes you better. I know. I think he gets tired of rescuing me for every one of these
No.
meetings.
No, Rob is wonderful.
Rob loves to throw lifelines. I know that.
Oh, absolutely. You have no idea how many times I've reached out to him, email, text, in a panic because I can't get in somewhere.
Excuse me, I have to say goodnight to my granddaughter.
Of course
Okay.
you do.
So we were just saying that we have at least half of the districts represented tonight, so we're really
amazing.
So
excited.
Charlene, let's not spoil what I'm gonna
Oh.
say.
Sorry.
Charlene, you can go ahead and spoil it. She'll fill in with something else. No problem.
Well, let's hope we get at
Hi,
least more
Brian.
than what we have on.
Hi, Danielle. Hey, Carrie.
Hello.
How's it going? Steve, you made it. Congratulations. Welcome.
I'll be right back. I just came off another Zoom session. I need a short break.
I understand. Totally understand.
Completely understandable.
I mean, literally just came off 2 hours.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Diane Morris, how are you?
Diane made it. Aren't you in Florida, Diane? Well,
Whoops,
you're
you're
muted.
muted. Yeah.
Yes, I am in Florida. See my tan?
Nice.
My sand?
No, I don't, but I do. I'll be there next week.
Really?
Good for you. I'll still be here next week.
Where are you?
I'm in Melbourne.
I'm going to Hollywood.
Oh,
Excuse me.
well, the weather's been beautiful.
Don't worry, as soon as I get there, it will change. I promise you.
Don't you bring any shit weather with you.
I'm gonna bring Jersey weather.
Oh,
Don't do
no,
Don't do that to them. They don't deserve
Oh,
that.
please.
I was there in January last year when the iguanas were falling out of the trees because it was so cold.
Oh, I
Oh,
remember
no.
that.
And then I was there in March when there was a mini hurricane come through and I got stuck in the bathroom by the pool, couldn't get out. So I'm hoping this
my.
year I have a little better luck.
I
Or
think
else
you
they
should
may
stay-
ban you from coming to Florida, one or the
Well,
other.
You are
yeah.
so correct. They may put the for sale sign up.
Sounds like it
And
can't
far
get
away
much
from you.
worse.
Yeah, it does. I agree with you, Brian.
Well,
Goodness.
there's nothing like an iguana falling on your head.
We used to have iguanas in the house here. We had them as pets.
My,
One of
where
them-
my husband's Nicaraguan and grew up with eating iguanas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would
Oh.
believe that. They get pretty.
They,
they get
they
pretty
taste like
fat.
chicken,
Of course
just
they
like
do.
everything else.
Everything tastes like chicken.
I'm not even gonna go there.
We had an iguana here that used to like to crawl across the back of the couch and bite my husband on the back of the head. Never
Oh,
bit
wow.
anybody else in the family, never did any, just my husband on a regular basis. He would escape, run across the back of the couch and chomp from the back of Frank's head.
Well,
Which
that
of
iguana
course-
deserved to be eaten.
That was, it amused the boys to no end. They thought that was hilarious.
I just need to ask Rob, can you send Melissa the direct link? She said she's tried 5 times and she still can't get in.
Yeah, what's her last name?
Spiata,
Okay.
Spiotta. Yeah.
Okay.
Bernadette, I might have to leave it around 8:15.
Okay, so as
I'm-
soon as we
I'm-
get started, you're gonna go right on. As
All
soon as I
right.
say a few things, we'll get you right on, okay?
Yeah, my daughter's down in Freehold and my son-in-law wants me to keep him company to go pick her up.
Oh,
Oh, God, that sounds, I want to say romantic, but it's not.
no.
Well, it's romantic for the two of them, but
And then, and what, are you gonna drive them back home?
no, he'll drive.
All right.
I'll sit in the front with him and my daughter will sit in the back with the baby.
There
Oh,
you
like
go.
driving Miss Daisy. I love it.
Yep, yep.
Leo, how are you tonight?
Leo, you're muted.
There we go. Very good.
Good.
Hey, Leo.
Always happy to see Leo's smiling face.
Yep.
I just left our high school where they had a multicultural evening in the,
How'd it go?
well, it's still going, but they have in the cafeteria, there's like a dozen booths or tables set up with people
Nice,
representing different countries. So
nice.
I got to have some food from Colombia tonight.
Ooh, sounds good.
Yeah, it
Now, I,
was.
kn- I know there's some people still trying to get in, but I do want to try and start kind of on time. So we'll wait another minute because I know, everyone has things going on. And like I said, my grandchildren are sleeping over tonight. I may have to change a diaper, tuck someone in. I'm not sure how the night's going to go, but we'll play it by ear. I promise. nothing.
It'll be fine.
As long as no one starts throwing up, Bernadette, you'll be fine.
Oh,
That's
no,
right.
that was the last meeting.
I know.
That was the absolute last meeting. So I'll wait till 7:20 and we'll get started.
Sounds
Do you
good.
have your gavel, Bernadette?
No, because it's not a real meeting that I have to gavel in. And I hid it from those kids today.
How old are they, Bernadette?
The ones that are staying, 3, 1, and 3 months.
Well, you definitely have to hide the hammer from them. That's not good. They would have killed each other. Or you.
Well, the dogs prefer that I hide it because they hit the dogs in the head.
Mm.
All right, it's 7:20, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So, good evening and welcome to the first of hopefully many county president and vice president forums. First, I need to thank Charlene and Rob for helping make my dream of bringing our county president and vice presidents together to help and learn from each other. The reality is this would never have happened without the both of them. So please, I thank you very much and let's give them a big round of applause. All right, let's get to it. Here is our meeting by the numbers. We have 35 people representing 21 of the 41 districts in the county. That is 50%. That's a great start. I'm sure we can do better, but I am happy. And in a few minutes, we will all introduce ourselves and state our districts where we're from so we can put a face to the respective districts when we read about everyone in the newspaper. So before we get started, I want to go over some quick housekeeping items. The first is a reminder that on March 29th, the County College of Morris and Randolph, we will be having our countywide Unsung Hero Awards. And we will have students, parents, superintendents, and board members with the respective nominees from their schools present. The Unsung Hero Award, just a reminder, the Unsung Hero Award was created to recognize and identify students who make outstanding contributions to their school and community, but may often be overlooked by traditional student recognition programs. Just a reminder that nominations are due by March 1st. Each high school in Morris County, including charter schools, may nominate one senior student, and each K-8 district may nominate one 8th grade student. Currently, we have secured the Mount Olive Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard to present the colors, and we are looking for a school to provide musical interlude. Anyone interested, please contact myself or Rob. On May 4th at Hanover Park, we will present the Monetary Scholarship Award winners. And I just want to remind everybody that currently we are missing 11 of our K-12 districts for the Unsung Hero Awards. They are Booton, Irene,
He said he
Jefferson.
sent it. I'm gonna have to check.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check on them. Okay.
Jefferson, Kinnelon, Madison, Morristown, Mount Olive, Mountain Lakes, Pequannock, Roxbury, Chatham, West Marsh, Mendham, and Central. We are currently missing 8 of our K-8s. They are Chester, East Hanover, Florham Park, Hanover Township, Mount Arlington, and Rockaway Township. So if we can, try and get everyone involved with that. I know some of the presidents right now are going, oh my God, that's my district. All right. Finally, just a reminder that the 2023 Irene LaFave Excellence in Boardmanship Award nominations are due by Wednesday, March 15th. This will be the second year the award is awarded. The award was established to honor local school board members who exemplify Irene's dedicated service as a board member, her leadership, her commitment, and her significant contributions to education to the students of local, county, at the local, county, and state levels. Irene, are you laughing at yourself?
No, coughing,
Oh,
just
Okay,
coughing.
sorry. President and vice presidents, I'm sure there's someone on your board that you would like to recognize. Now is the time. Let's get those nominations in. Before we get started, I wanted to thank everyone for attending tonight's forum on the role of the board president and vice president and how it differs from other board members, what your additional duties are, and how you are a communication conduit on building consensus. I want to remind everyone that the county officers and board of directors will be looking for informational items for topics for discussion for next year. If you have any ideas as we move forward, please get them to Rob or myself for consideration. So here we are. Congratulations on being selected to lead and serve your Board of Education. Now what? Well, your fellow board members have placed their trust and confidence in the fidelities of your abilities, in your knowledge, and in your leadership style. They are looking for you to help move your board forward and upward to advocate for all children and for the advancement of student achievement. That means you must remember who the stakeholders are and who your customers are, because they will be looking for you for solutions. It's your job now to build a relationship with all the stakeholders, and it's your job to take your board from good to great. It's time for you to lead and set the example. True leadership is not achieved by simply getting a title. It must be earned through your character, the relationships you build, your knowledge, your intuition, your experience, your past successes, and your ability to deliver. You must lead the best way you know how, with dignity and respect, and then bear the weight of it. You must also remember to lead from the front, because if you do not lead from the front, the view never changes. And as I said last month, don't be afraid to fail. I have failed several times, and that is why I succeed, because learning and growth are impossible without failure. Hopefully after tonight, and the training tools that are available through New Jersey School Boards Association, we will equip you with the skills and information necessary to perform your role as board president effectively and efficiently. And now I'd like to introduce one of Morris County's premier leaders, Dr. Karen Cordolino, who is the current vice president of legislation and a past Morris County president, and the recipient of the first Irene LaFave Excellence in Boardmanship Award. And it gives me great pleasure and with great pride to announce that Dr. Cordolino has been nominated to succeed our current president, Irene LaFave, as the New Jersey School Boards Association president. And that makes Morris County second to none. Congratulations, Karen.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm really very humbled by all of you and your kind words, Bernadette. And I'm also in awe of our current president, Irene LaFave. And Irene has been a role model for me since I was a newbie board member. I attended one of my first, some of you've heard this story, you're going to have to hear it again. I attended one of my first Morris County School Board meetings. It was at a hotel. There were tables set up. I sat sort of towards the back as a newcomer. I was a little intimidated. And during discussion, Irene kept raising her hand, had terrific things to offer, was assertive and direct, knowledgeable. And I said, when I grow up, I want to be like her. And I know Irene has heard this story before, but I really mean it, Irene. I aspire to be just like you.
Thank you.
So Bernadette reached out and asked if I would speak a little bit about what the, plans for the future, goals for school boards, New Jersey school boards, student achievement, and maybe just mention a couple of committees that New Jersey school board sponsors, as well as maybe just a few little nuggets on being a good and effective board president. So getting right to the plans for the future, I mean, the most important thing we need to do right now is we have a new, energetic, enthusiastic executive director who was hired last July. And Irene has been paving a path for his successful onboarding. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet with Tim or speak with him, but he is the man for the job at this point in time. Lots of great ideas, and he's already implemented them, some of them. So my role, I think, will be one of the first things that I'll need to do as the incoming president is to continue to support him, to continue to support his work in regards to the strategic plan, to our mission, and as well as to how he frameworks the work that he does, content, connect, and advocacy. And I'll leave that to him to describe at some other time. But that will be a very important goal for the president and the officers as we move forward, as our terms begin in May, and Tim will still be onboarding. The rest of the goals, I think, are probably clear to most of you. School safety and security, the mental health crisis, teacher shortage, and learning loss. And kind of always in the background lie more challenges, and that being diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as restoring nonpartisanship and civility on boards of education. So there are things in place right now that address all of these issues, especially the first four that I mentioned, both at the state and the school boards level. We can talk about that some other time, but for now, we're just to provide a general overview. Another goal, I think, is to amplify board member voices, and that is to empower school board members and leaders like yourselves to let us know what you need. More relevant programming, programming that helps for your specific needs in your district. We'd like to pivot the organization to best support school board members. So we need to hear from you. In terms of student achievement, early on in my board career, I attended a workshop, and I learned about the Iowa Lighthouse inquiry. And from that, it helped me a great deal to understand what I needed to do in order to be an effective board member and to bring that back to my own board, because the Iowa Lighthouse inquiry proved with data that effective school boards positively affect student achievement. So one of the most important things you can do as school board members is to take a look at the Iowa study and try and emulate some of the ideals that the study represents. And that would be a great way, especially, for any board, whether you're a highly effective board or not. It's worth your while. And anything that you do to help your superintendent fulfill their goals certainly works towards student achievement. As far as committees go, there's lots of committees at New Jersey school boards. Currently, as the Vice President of Legislation and Resolutions, I chair the Legislative Committee, which is a very dynamic committee. We get to interface with lots of lawmakers. And you would be surprised how many of them are very knowledgeable about the challenges that we face in education and are trying to help us. So that was very refreshing. If any of you were at workshop this year, you were able to see a bipartisan panel talk about education. And it made me feel as though people are listening and people do understand. So important for you to reach out to your own local legislators. Try and develop those relationships. Attend them not with complaints, so to speak, but with challenges or concerns that you might have, and always go with solutions. And again, building those relationships really, really helps down the line when items come up that when bills come up where we need for there to be some amendment. They'll look at you, they'll trust you, they'll want your input. So we have legislative and resolutions. There's a finance committee, there's a special ed committee, there's an audit committee, there are NJSIAA representatives. We have the ELF New Jersey, which is the kind of the fundraising arm of New Jersey school boards. So there's lots of ways for you to get involved. We have our board of directors as well. So you can always reach out to your field service representative who can, if you're interested in any of those committees, who can guide you into speaking to the right people.
Karen, if I could just ask you a quick question on committee assignments.
Mhm.
Is there a minimum of years' experience that you look when you want to place people on these committees?
No,
I can
I mean, for the officers, there are.
I know,
minimum
3 years,
requirements.
yes.
Yeah. I don't believe there are for the committees.
The
And
problem-
is that,
The problem
I
with the
read-
committees, is that they have, except for Ledge, they have a finite number of members, Ledge does too, because it's by district. So the best thing you can do is let us know that you're interested, and then we keep a running list of the people who have an interest in serving on particular committees, and as the openings become available, lets us know who to reach out to.
so
Perfect, thank
the
you.
way it works is every district in New Jersey is represented. So my own district has a Ledge committee person. I mean, right now it's me. But every district, every legislative district is represented. Whereas
Where special ed only has 10 people altogether, or
right.
and
And-
a total number of people. So it's hard. I can't say it's hard to get onto the committees, but even though it sounds like we have a lot of committees, we don't have 100, 200 slots for people on those committees. So that's why it's really important that as you have an interest in these committees, that you put your name on the list, that, you can contact any of the officers, and we can add your name to the list of people who would like to serve when the opportunity presents itself. Okay.
Yeah, and a good one is the board of directors as well. There's a board of director member and a board of director alternate. The alternate is pretty, if you remain an alternate, you could probably remain an alternate for a considerable amount of time, but there is a term limit to the representative, the actual board of director member. And if you peruse the bylaws, it's all spelled out there.
Exactly.
As well. So that'll help you a great deal. And the bylaws are online. And the last thing I'll touch on is being a good board president. I think first and foremost, you need to be a role model. You need, like Irene is for me. And you can help yourself be a role model by building relationships, which are very important. I know on my own board, when I became board president, we were a board struggling a little bit with what our role was. So we started having dinner together. I would ask the board members, what do you want to eat tonight? You know, before our board meeting, and I would do the ordering and we would sit around and eat. I strongly believe in the philosophy of breaking bread. It's hard to really be upset with someone or angry at someone when you're talking about your vacation pictures. So, you know, breaking down those barriers and creating those relationships is the job of a board president. The board president must always protect the minority voices, because you will not be an effective president for the entire board if you don't listen to the minority voices and not just pay lip service, but try to work together to come to a consensus. So respecting and protecting those voices is important, and reaching consensus. We are not always going to get what we want, but we should be able to agree to something that we all can live with and then turn the page. And because that's done now. So turn the page and keep going forward. And just one last thing about building relationships, just like protecting the minority voices, you want to build relationships with people maybe who you don't really like on some organic level, or who you don't agree with, because that buys you credibility. And you have to be sincere about it, but that buys you credibility. And people are more likely to listen to you if they know that you have an open mind and are willing to listen to all sides. That's what I have to offer tonight.
Well, that was obviously great. Thank you very much, Karen. And again, we look forward to you taking the reins from Irene and continuing the great tradition and success Marsh County has. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette. I could not have imagined a better line of succession than Irene and you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And at this time, I'm now going to hand the program over to the woman, the myth, and the legend, Charlene Peterson.
Thank you so much. So initially we were going to have everybody kind of go around and introduce themselves, but maybe we'll just do that when we get into our small groups. I don't know, unless you want to do it now, Bernadette, or.
I think we can go real quick.
Okay.
I think we can go real quick. For those of you who don't know me, Bernadette D'Alessandro, President, Netcong Board of Education. Next, Irene, you're next.
I'm next. Okay, so Irene Lefebvre, Town of Houghton. I'm currently president of the board here and have been off and on for several years.
Everybody just jump in.
Daniela?
Daniela Mendez. There's a lot of noise. Daniela Mendez, my pronouns are she and her, president of the Dover Board of Education.
Brian?
I'm Brian Senek from Pequannock. I'm a first-year president and I'm a third-year board member.
Diane?
Diane Morris, Mine Hill Board President.
Scott Miller?
Scott Miller, Vice President of Dover Board of Education.
Danielle?
Danielle Esposito, Vice President of Pequannock Township.
Leo?
Leo Coakley, President in Roxbury.
Lisa?
Lisa Mezek, I'm the president of Rockaway Township Board of Education.
Lisa is also a member of our Awards and Recognition Committee, helping to make sure that we have a great program again. All right, Karen, everyone knows who you are now, Karen. All right, we know Rob. Steve?
Stephen Tyndall, fourth year Board of Ed Madison, first year vice president. I knew I was going to be the vice president the day before the election. No one here wants to be the president or vice president. So I really wonder how common that is. It's sort of, you know, if you don't show up to the meeting, you get elected. Maybe it's just me.
All right, Larissa?
Hi, everyone. I'm Larissa Smith. I'm in my second term at Rockaway Township, and I am in my first year of being a vice president.
Melissa? Oh, I'm glad you got on.
Oh, thank you. I'm Melissa Spiota from the Moore School District, and I'm in my second term, and this is my third year as president.
Ah, Mr. Gales.
Hello, everyone. Antoine Gales. I am the president of the Mount Olive Board of Education. This is my first year as president, my third term as a Mount Olive board member.
Carrie.
Hi, I am Carrie Santalucia, and I am the vice president at Mekong Board of Ed.
Michelle.
Sorry, that's Michelle Zuckerman, first year vice president of Montville Board of Ed, and proud to say Karen Cordolino is my mentor.
Well said. Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bomango. I'm Hanover Township, first year president, second year on the board.
Kim.
Hi, Kim Case, Long Hill Township Board President, second year being president.
Okay, Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jen Aquino. I am vice president at Mount Olive and second year board member.
Joan.
Hi, I'm Joan Modi. Starting my fifth year on the board at Mendham Township. I am entering my first year as president, but I was president for half the year last year after our president left. So first time elected, I guess.
Are you on the board with Peter Dumovic?
Yes, I am.
He's a great board member.
Yes, we're lucky to have him.
Great asset. All right, Jennifer.
Hi, Jen Waters. I'm the Mine Hill district. I'm the vice president.
I think we have everyone. Did I miss anyone? With that being said, it's all yours, Charlene.
Okay, Rob, do you want to put my presentation up quick? So, one of the things that kind of drove the topic for tonight was almost right after reorg, I had a board president call me and say, can you please send me some information that helps describe my role? Like my other board members are kind of saying like, what do you do that's different from the rest of us? So some of it is really kind of been nicely summarized from what we've heard already. But I'm just going to kind of quickly go through it because really the focus of tonight is allowing you the opportunity to speak with one another. And that's really what we want this group to be and to evolve in, and for you to almost kind of form a network and, exchange contact information and really kind of be a resource and a sounding board. So we're just going to, trying to get that kicked off tonight. So Rob, if you could advance, please. Oops. So, yep, keep going. So I'm just going to kind of go through just a couple things. If you could, whoops. Okay, go back. So it starts out kind of talking, yes, right there. So one of the things we didn't really realize is that in statute, there are some things that in statute said, okay, board presidents, these are things that, are afforded to you in statute. So one of the things, and it's probably not something any of us have ever been asked to carry out, but essentially before a teacher or a supervisor gets their certificate, they have to take kind of how we have to take an oath of office. They have a similar type oath, and in statute, it identifies who is able to issue that oath, and board presidents are one of those people who are statutorily able to do that. When you come to the meetings, you often have this stack of things for you to sign placed in front of you. So that's where it comes from, of having to sign the checks, or when money needs to be spent, certifying the payroll. If your board needs to call special meetings, so that means any meeting other than your annual normal meetings. If you wanted to have a meeting for a retreat or any other special purpose, that you have the ability to call that. Okay, Rob, if you want to advance, you can, if your dish is issuing bonds, you have to sign those. If the superintendent has to suspend someone in between board meetings, you have the authority to approve that. And then if there are any hearings before the board, if it's an HIB hearing or a Donaldson hearing or any hearing that comes before the board, that you can compel witnesses to be part of that process if it's thought that that would be helpful information for the board. So those are the things in statute that you legally give you power. One of the other places that helps define your role sometimes is in policy. That most of you have the ability to assign committee members, assign the chairperson, create ad hoc committees. And in some of your policies, I've seen that, the board president is the ex officio member on all committees. We know that in most of our policy, it says that we, work through Robert's Rules of Order. So just inherent in that then are all kinds of duties that are assigned to the president as the presider of the meetings. And in many of your policies, we talk about the fact that the board president is the spokesperson for the board. And so usually that again is in policy, and sometimes it's in your public relations portion of the policy. But if we think about the fact that everything we do is through the majority, and the board majority doesn't have a voice, that's where you come in as the president. Then it's when you say you're the spokesperson, it's not the spokesperson for what you believe, but you are that voice. You're giving voice to the board majority. Okay. So we had mentioned Robert's Rules, so I don't want to go through all of it, but just, and I think that Karen summarized it really well of just, making sure that through Robert's Rules that every board member has equal rights, that you're carrying out the work of the majority, but most importantly, also respecting the rights of the minority, and then kind of merging those individual personalities into kind of the larger unit of the of your team. So if you want to advance to the next one. So when I talk about that team, that's really, kind of where we really have to dig in and do our work of helping make your board a team, because we say that they all run as individuals. People come on the board for different reasons, but your success really comes when you are able to come together as a team. And like Karen said, working together with your superintendent, that you really can make a difference in student achievement. So that's why it really is important. So we want to make sure that our members come prepared, they have the information that they need, that we are the person helping, communication, communication to the superintendent, communication to the board members. And again, Karen talked about the importance of building consensus. And this is one of my favorite sayings from New Jersey school boards of, saying that everybody should get their say, but not always get their way. And sometimes that's an important part of the work that we do at our board meetings. Again, making sure that everybody is heard is important. Everyone's treated fairly. And then the next one is really hard to say, making sure we focus on the issues. And it's not about the people, it's not about the personalities, but what are the issues? And sometimes it's hard not to take it personal, but it's really important in order for us to get our work done to stay focused on the issues. And then again, that importance of being a role model, not only to the other board members, but also to our students as well. Okay. So then go ahead, you can advance, please. So then the next piece of it then is also that important relationship, and we really call it a partnership that you have with the superintendent, and the importance of, developing that partnership and working together, because that really does have a significant impact on the work of the board. So from your perspective as the board president, it's important, that having communication with the superintendent, you can have honest and open dialogue, so that you are informed about what's going on. You can inform the superintendent about things from the board level. And, a lot of times the superintendent really doesn't have a peer in the district, right? So a lot of times they rely on you as their sounding board, and that really is an important role for them to have that sounding board that they can trust. And trust is the next part of this. And we know how important that is. And really trust is based on the fact that we are all doing, again, goes down to student achievement and making sure that all within our respective roles, that we're here for that purpose. From the board's perspective, you're the executive officer of the board versus the superintendent being the executive officer of the district, and then making sure that the expectations are clear. That's so important in the relationship with the superintendent, is knowing what's expected, but then from the board, but then also from the board knowing what does the superintendent need from the board to be successful, and making sure that those expectations are clear on both sides. Okay. And the next one, please. So, this is one of the things too, that it's also important to sometimes remind our board members, is that even though our responsibilities may be different, our authority is not, right? That we are still only have one vote, same as everyone else on the board. So just kind of, making that point clear as well to our board members. Okay. So the last piece of this was just kind of a way that just kind of wanted us to, and you can look at this later. We'll send this presentation out to everyone if you don't have it, but just to kind of reflect after you finished, a meeting, or, how you're leading a meeting of, saying, do I work with the superintendent to set the agenda? Do I make sure the board has all the backup materials they need so they can make informed votes? How am I doing in managing the time in my meetings? How am I doing on keeping the board following the agenda? Am I encouraging everyone to participate? Am I discouraging kind of, sidebar things and trying to just keep everyone focused on the work at hand? Am I that role model? Am I, following parliamentary procedure to keep the discussion rolling the way it should, making sure that the public feels valued, and importantly, that the public understands, how to make public comment, how to participate, making sure that we are having appropriate discussions, that they're taking place in public. Are we at the end of the meeting kind of summarizing things up and saying, okay, folks, this is what we accomplished tonight? I've seen some boards end and say, this is what we did for kids tonight. Like, how are you summarizing up the work that you've done at the end of the meeting? And then are you following up on things that, it was decided that the board would need to do before the, in preparation for the next meeting? So just kind of a checklist for you as the leader to kind of keep yourself, kind of evaluate yourself to make sure that you're helping the boards and running an effective meeting. Okay. So then the next piece of it, like I said, the important work tonight is that we are going to put you into groups, small groups of, anywhere from 5, 6, 7 people, something like that, depending on how many people we have tonight. Our goal is to try and split up if there's 2 people from the same board. So we already introduced ourselves a little bit, but maybe once you get in your small group, you might want to do it again. And then if you can think of like some kind of a fun fact to share about your board so that people can get a sense of what your district's like or what your board is like, to help share that with everyone in your group. And then so the kind of the tasks when you get in your small group is to talk about as a group what you think as board leaders, what are the top issues that you feel your board is going to be contending with this year. It can be things about the board, like, it can be people coming to the board with agendas or political things, or it can be issues that it can be budget things. Like, what are the things that you think as a leader you need to be able to pull your board together to work through? So I want you to talk about that as a group, come up with what your group feels those ideas are, and then pick one. So as your group, once you're sitting together, pick one and say, okay, for this issue, what are some things that what are some strategies that we think we can share that we might be helpful to other boards who could be facing these same things? So just pick one. And then we also have a short case study that is somewhat based on issues that that boards are currently dealing with, and just want you to read through the case study. And Rob's going to put both a list of these tasks and the case study in the chat. So want you to kind of discuss the questions that are go along with the case study. So you have 3 tasks: to talk about what you think the top issues are, to pick one and develop kind of some recommendations for it, and then to look at the case study and answer the questions. So when you get into your small groups, Rob's going to put a form in the chat for you. So if someone in each one of the groups would like to be the person to kind of volunteer and either type or fill out the form for your group, and you also should be able to share your screen so that the rest of the group can see what's there. I mean, you don't need to do that, but it's kind of the most efficient and effective way if your group can do that. We're going to have you spend 50 minutes. We've also allowed a little time then to come back and report out. So 50 minutes. So we'll be sending you about 15-minute kind of reminders. So if we think about the fact that we have 3 tasks that kind of each like 15 minutes kind of say, okay, we need to be wrapping up and moving on to the next one. And then we are going to come back and report out. So I am now going to leave you into Rob's very capable hands to put you into your small groups. And again, in each group will be a document that will be in the chat that will have the things that I just talked about in terms of what your tasks are, the ability to record into them, and then we'll also have the case study embedded in there so that everyone can just click on it and read the case study as well. So again, let's see, it is just about 8 o'clock. So we're going to see you, or, see you back at about 10 to 9. So I'm going to turn it over to Rob then to go ahead and put you into your groups, and then we'll be kind of hopping in and out just to see how you're all doing. So
Thank you, Charlene. And
Yeah.
I'm just some people that came in, I'm just adding them. So there's going to be 4. Yes, there's 4 groups. So you either have 5 or 6 people in each of your groups.
Rob, Bernadette, I have to say goodnight.
No
Thank
problem.
you. And I look forward to seeing all of you soon.
Thank you,
Bye,
Claire.
Karen.
Karen, as always, our pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure. Good night.
So in the chat box, I put a Google Doc link. So this link will have a list of the groups. So once you get in your group, you'll see what number you're in. So someone in the group can click on that number and share their screen, or if everyone wants to click the number, and this will be your document. And like Charlene said, the case study is linked right into the document. And then if you have any questions once you're in the breakout room, I think you can message me as the host. And I'm going to now automatically push you in, and I will send that link again just in case it doesn't go into the breakout rooms. And there you go.
Hey, Rob, it looks like we still have a couple people here in the main room. Are they?
Yeah. Steve just came back in. Steve, are
Okay.
you having an issue? And Leo, I'm not sure what happened to him.
Okay, yeah, because I just came out of whatever group was Irene was in, and there was only 3 people in there, so I'm wondering if these guys
Yes,
were.
they were.
We were all dropped. This is like the last time I was in one of these. We're just all being dropped.
Let me see. 1 second.
Dropped
I
like
don't have
out of the
a- I don't have a
dropped out of the
suggestion.
meeting, you mean?
The moment you split us into groups, I was dropped out of Zoom completely. This happened at the Morris County meeting last time. I really don't suggest you guys try to use breakout. I've used breakouts a lot. I never had this happen. If you mean direct link to the meeting, I see it. It's no different than what I'm using.
There he goes. Okay, okay, that should be everyone now. Group 3 keeps asking me for help. I'm gonna jump in there real quick.
Okay, okay.
Nope. I was just dropped.
You're kidding.
Just poof. Gone.
I wonder what it is, because you're the only one, right?
Well, that's okay. I'm probably not going to try to resolve this. I don't get it. I give up.
Do you want Rob to, I mean, I think he just went into a room because I don't have the ability to assign you.
Well, it said last time I was in group 4, and I think the first time it was in group 1. And now there's nothing here to do. Host has open breakout. Please wait to be assigned. I'm getting the message. I don't know if you're getting that.
So okay, looks like I have the ability to assign you to a room, either room 1, 2, 3, or 4.
I expect you're just going to drop me when it comes.
Okay, well, I'm putting you in 4 and we'll see what happens. Rob, do you want to stop recording until everyone comes back?
Members and what kind of problems they're having. That could be the most important thing that comes out of these meetings. You just let board members talk to each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Charlene, back to you.
Okay, yeah, no, that is the whole intent of this and the whole intent of putting this group together. So, you know, that we tried it a couple of years ago before COVID, and, you know, we were able to meet in person, and, you know, the attendees kind of, you were able to identify topics you wanted to talk about ahead of time. And when we did it that time, I think we got like 40 different topics that people had asked to talk about. So that's kind of what we are hoping to get started. So we just kind of wanted to kick this one off with just a little bit of structure, just to kind of bring everyone together and have you get to know one another. But like you say, the main benefit is to have everyone have the opportunity to talk to one another, and learn from one another, because that's, you know, there's nobody that can help you better other than someone else who's in the trenches with you. So there's just so much value to that. So we did want to just share a little bit kind of about what, you know, what your experiences, what your conversations were. So if, you know, we have 4 groups, so we'll go through each one of them, I guess, starting with group number 1. So if group number 1, you know, it would just give us a really quick recap of kind of what some of the issues are you think boards are facing, the issue your group chose to talk about, and then any thoughts on the case study. So whoever from group 1 wants to.
Well, I was part of group 1, but I wasn't the scribe. Brian was, and we were so focused on the case study. I don't think we got to the other questions, but I will say I love my group. I absolutely love my group. Okay, Brian, I paved the way for you to move forward.
Thank you very much. All right. So in terms of the struggles, we did go over one issue, was that one member in our group had a failed referendum. And we briefly discussed why they felt that it failed, and what they were doing as a board to try and rectify that. And that included having a kind of healing with the community, because the community felt like they weren't included. And as a result of that, the board member expressed to us that they were going to form a community advisory group to get their input. They felt that the options that were looked at for this referendum, the only one that was really presented to the community was the one that was ultimately chosen, and not basically all the other options. So that way the community was just served with this one option and then forced to vote on it. And they kind of felt that maybe if there was more communication, and if this committee was in place to inform the community of all the options and the reasoning as to why they chose the one, they felt that maybe the referendum would have maybe potentially worked out better. Did I get that well enough, Daniela?
You are right on the money.
Okay. And then in terms of the case study, do you want me to talk about that as well, or do you want to wait and let everyone go with their issues?
Now you can just quickly, whatever you guys have to, you know, whatever your thoughts were.
So everybody, I assume, had a different case study, yes?
Everybody had the same case study.
Okay, so we all met Zoe. Some of the concerns that we had as a president is we felt that maybe we should have some retreats that Zoe can understand what's supposed to be going on and give us the opportunity to speak as a board, what committees Zoe was on and what she's doing in those committees, being that we all saw what she was doing at the board. The fact that she seems to want all the attention on her in the meeting, and that could potentially lead to an ethics violation. And then also that the behavior that she's demonstrating at these meetings might ultimately spread to other members, which would create more of a problem than they already are dealing with. Actions that we felt could be taken is Zoe should attend SBA training. The president should try and build a relationship with Zoe to try and get some consensus among the group and make her feel that she's part of the team. And have the board attorney provide ethics training, and then also the presidential mentoring that I just described. And then the last question is, what could the role of the other board members be? And we went on to having an additional mentor for Zoe, creating an onboarding program for her, trying to build a relationship with her, again, make her feel that she's part of the team, and then have some team bonding exercises. One of the speakers mentioned earlier about dinner or some other type of thing, retreat, and then explaining to Zoe in no, uncertain terms what the norms and procedures and expectations are for each of the board members. So that way there's a level of expectation set, and that way there's no misunderstanding as to how you're supposed to act and how the board functions.
Great, thank you so much. Good work, group number one. Okay, can we hear from group number two now then?
I guess I was described, I can quickly share the screen. Would that work of what we wrote? Is that, I don't know,
Sure.
go through it. Okay, so I think we could have talked about a lot more issues, but we came up with space development issues, how it's being used, and then the need for referendum, healthcare costs, teacher negotiations, contract negotiations, learning loss due to COVID, and attacks on diversity, equity, inclusion, concerns about standards in general. We ended up I think we could have talked about any of them, but flowing into more details about that last one. We talked about the importance of preemptive information, presentations during board meetings, obtaining input from the community, attending other board meetings to review different strategies, and communicating opt-in out choices, and just communicating in general effectively and thoroughly with the public to, and hearing their voice, like combination of those two things. In terms of the case study, concerned that this could be a rogue board member, but about not building relationships, not being respectful, but on all ends, where is this coming from? Not understanding, some of the way a board member should act. Did she attend training? If not, does she have an agenda? Is she acting as an individual, not as a whole board? It could be misleading to the public with what she's doing. Does this mean the board's dysfunctional in general? Is she not able to have her voice heard in other ways? Is it a bigger issue with the board, or is it just an issue with her? We talked about, Board President Rainier during the meetings, having closed sessions or separate meetings with VP, president. And we talked about the board attorney, School Boards Association, who can help her understand and help try to make the board more functional. Strategies such as asking board members to send questions or concerns prior to the meeting. So it could be, everyone could feel that they're being heard in that way, and maybe not the necessity to air it out in public that way. Talking about the need for all the board members to be collaborative, be role models, show her effective ways to communicate and express their concerns, thorough notes of all the committee meetings, everyone being open to having all members being able to sit on various committees, because maybe there's certain areas that are causing more concern, and if they sat on committees, they would understand, and understanding for the whole board that respectful discussions with different viewpoints are necessary and helpful to ultimately build the consensus that we're all looking for. I know I said that fast, but you're reading it too, so hopefully that was okay.
That was perfect. Thank you so much. Great work, group number two. Can we hear from group number three now?
Our scribe left us, so do we have access to the notes that Larissa took?
I'm not sure, Rob, can you see what group number three's input was?
Rob, are you still with us?
Okay, why don't we go to group four then? You want to go to group four and we'll come back?
Okay.
Hello, I was the one who is.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, just one second. Yeah, if you go to that small group discussion page and just click on group number three, it'll give you a pop-up tab. You can see the notes. So, but we can do it after group number four.
I could just, yeah, I could just start. I mean, if we just want to do group three real quick,
yeah.
I mean,
Can you
yeah,
say it?
I mean, and people can jump in. I mean, I think for the main the main topic for of issues to address, we had a couple of them: negotiations coming up, new superintendent, facilities, but then we also had there you go. We also talked about student achievement and learning acceleration, and that's one of the things that we focused on for in terms of strategies. And I think we had a couple of ways that the board could be supportive of learning acceleration and student achievement around student achievement or education committees and the topics that are focused on there, through the budget process and how funds are being spent towards student achievement when it comes to curriculum, materials, professional development, all of those things. Sort of having the boat row in the same direction for towards student achievement and progress and learning acceleration. I can barely see. Okay, and then also importance around learning acceleration and assessing these interventions and making sure that the district is doing that, and the board can see that progress. Again, through presentations to the board, but also setting district goals and the board goals and approving those so that they're in alignment around progress and student achievement. So that's really what we focused on for the first topic. I don't know, Diane or David, if you have anything to add.
I think you captured it well, that our certainly we all have issues we're dealing with, but I think we all share the same concern that our students perform to the level of expectations to their grade levels.
Yeah, and I don't think there was anything that wasn't already said around the case study. I think there was like a multitude of strategies and tactics that people provided. And I think, to Charlene's point earlier, is really giving the opportunity for a voice to be heard, and the path for that is really important. And I think Diane had mentioned around school boards training and maybe having a board retreat for discussion. I think we've all talked about modeling good behavior as a board president and having other members model that behavior. And, at the end of the day, allowing board members to call for a question, entertain a motion potentially for some action, and allowing for the majority to speak on issues.
Great, thank you so much.
Well done, Kim.
Yep.
Thank
Okay, good. Okay, so group number 4 then?
I was described for group 4. I'll just mention the things that are different, or at least a little bit different. What we consider the top issues is increase in pre-K disabled students, finding room for them, having a stable administration and making the right choices to advance the district. Community trying to politicize elections, specifically the health curriculum as well, and mental health concerns. So some of the strategies that we had discussed were to hold community forums to discuss issues with stakeholders, call your board attorney for guidance when necessary, and then look into bringing in mental health services for access by students on campus. Moving on to the case study, one of the concerns I haven't heard someone say is that there shouldn't be any surprises at the board meeting. You should be giving your superintendent a heads up, especially if specific questions that are going to be asked that are going to or might require some extra preparation, because you don't want to embarrass anybody in public. Some of the actions is talking about Robert's rules, prevailing on the rest of the Board of Ed to hold unruly members accountable to abide by them, because if everyone's doing it, becomes a norm. You could declare like a 5-minute rest period, so then you can kind of have a reset. And then ask New Jersey School Board Association to come in for board training. Now, as far as the other piece of this, new board members used to have 12 months to complete the first training. And we did recognize that that's an issue, that they could be causing some issues for a year. There's an upcoming amendment that is going to change that you have to complete this training within 90 days.
What?
So we think that was an excellent move to train. Wow. Yeah. So I thought that was awesome. I think everyone else in my group thought so too. So yay. Thanks, Irene, for telling us that.
Yep, no, and thank you to
That was
group
it.
4. And yeah, I guess to clarify that for everyone else, So the School Ethics Commission proposed some changes to their regulations. Those changes went through the hearing process. The last piece of it was that they needed to be approved at the State Board of Ed. So at its February meeting, the State Board of Ed did approve it. So now all new board members who join their board after February, so for all of us who just had new board members join in January, they're not held accountable to it. But for those boards that have an April election, their new board members will have to complete new board member training within their first 90 days. I was just talking to a board who now has a vacancy, that someone just resigned on their board because of a change in their job, even though they're, have the November election. So whoever they appoint to that vacancy will be held accountable to it. The same will be true, for charter schools. And so anyone now who gets on their board starting now in February has to complete their new board member orientation in 90 days.
That doesn't apply to Gov 234?
No, it does not.
Okay.
So to kind of, close things out here quickly, really just wanted to thank everyone, hope you enjoyed this opportunity together. We want to get you together more. We want the agenda and the topics to be driven by you. We are going to share all of your, all of the documents from today, your work, the PowerPoint, everything, so that you have all the materials from today. And like I say, I really want this to become a community of, and be a resource for one another. So Bernadette, I don't know if you want to close this out here.
You said it all. I thank everyone for coming. I think this was very informative. I hope you liked it. And Charlene and I will pick another date and get it out to you guys and tell us what you'd like to talk about or see the topic, and we'll take it from there. Again, thank you all. Have a good evening. Good luck during budget season, and we'll see you soon. And don't forget, Unsung Hero Awards, Irene Lefebvre Awards, and we'll see everyone March 25th at County College of March. No, March 29th at County College of Mars. Thank you.
Bernadette. Have a good night, everyone.
Anton,
Thank you.
Anton, can you stay on for a minute? I need to ask you a question.
Sure.
Why, thank you. The only reason why I asked you to stay on is we have your color guard coming to do, presenting the colors. And I recently was at the Wrestling County match there, and I heard your singers come and do the national anthem. Do you think you could facilitate getting them to come and sing the national anthem for us at County College?
On the 25th?
No, the 29th. I have the 25th is a huge fundraiser I'm doing. So I keep getting those dates confused, but let me just triple check in my calendar. It's March 29th. March 29th at County College, and your color guard is already coming. So I don't know if that helps with transportation.
Okay, and just so that I'm sure the superintendent knows, but what time?
Oh. I believe it's 7, but I can get you more information.
But we'll check since the color guard's going. I'm sure she knows what time.
Yeah. So they were I'm looking for those same singers who sang at the Marsh County Wrestling Tournament at your school, and they're from your school, obviously. And I don't know if you have a good string program or concert band or jazz band or something, but let's try and make this a whole Mount Olive night and see if you can bring some music interlude, so you can provide the musical interlude, something along that line. And
we have a phenomenal jazz band.
Bring them. Bring them. And let me tell you something, I know you have a good music program because you just stole my music teacher. Yeah, you did. Thank you.
Who is that?
Jackie Burkett. She's in your middle school now.
Oh, wow.
She's fantastic. And she was already working with your marching band.
Yeah, our music program is just phenomenal. And that's why I was a few minutes late to this meeting, because we had our strings concert tonight. Just incredible. And we had symphonic orchestra on Tuesday. Oh, it was just just amazing.
Well, you pick who you want to send, and Mount Olive's going to do the color guard, the musical interlude, and we're going to have